you have kind of been working towards top fuel over the last, couple years. Obviously, probably not as soon as you anticipated here, but how prepared did you feel? Because I know you've gone testing, like you said, you got your license, I think last year, how prepared did you feel just kind of being like, okay, get in the seat and go?
I felt really prepared. I think because we were really thoughtful with the licensing process. I think I could have easily been officially licensed, in one test session, but we chose to extend it out over 3 sessions and really take my time with it. And so I tested at 3 different racetracks at 3 different times throughout the year. So I really got to experience a lot of, different like weather conditions and different track, like how it feels going down different, shorter versus longer tracks. And then also just being with the same group of guys that I licensed with, and also, like being around them for so long. Like I think most of the guys have been working with my dad, going on almost like 5 years now. And some of them almost like up to like 8 years. And so like already having that relationship, I know is huge. Especially thinking back in like my alcohol racing days where, I've switched over to a couple, like 3 different teams during that time. And I know each time I was with somebody new, it almost kind of felt like you're starting all over again because you have to recreate that relationship. So I will say, having, all last year with the licensing and testing of the same group of guys, like I already had a routine with them because I know my dad was like calling me like the night before Pomona and he's like, create a routine, think about what you want. I'm like, Dad, like I got it. Like I already know, like I fist bump this guy, like we do this. Mark, he puts my gear on. I'm like, we got it, like it's good. And so, I mean, that I know 100% like took away a lot of like the unknowns and all this like extra anxiety I know I would have had it been with like I'd never been with before.
And so then in general, I know I was reading some things about you, and I know, obviously your family, not just you, but your dad, like the whole drag racing thing kind of came about not all that long ago. It's still maybe a little bit new. So how just comfortable do you feel in, the drag racing world? Like, do you feel like when you're coming there, like, yes, I belong, or do you still feel like you're maybe trying to prove that to people? Like, just kind of what is the overall sentiment?
Um, I think I definitely, when I was first, we were all getting into it and I was first racing in alcohol, I definitely felt like, I'm the new kid here and I don't know where I fit in. And then I will say, in gosh, what I think maybe 3 years ago, when I decided to move from California to Brownsburg, Indiana, that's where I kind of noticed like this real shift in like how I view myself within the
Mhm.
sport. Because I was always told, if you want to take your drag racing career seriously, that's where you move to. And I always like, I was like, nope, there's nothing in the world that's ever going to make me move there. And then COVID hit and everything was shut down. And I was living in San Francisco at the time. And I was like, well, everything's open there. Like I have a whole community over there.
Mhm.
So I moved there and then started working for the race team full time and working in the shop. And then I think from there, that's where I really got to, really meet everybody involved within our sport, all of, the manufacturers, the vendors, all of the other people that work on the different teams and, all the different roles, both on the car and off the car. So I like really like my sense of like who everybody else was like really grew. And I think I also then got to share like who I am with those people. And then last year, like really like with between racing top alcohol and then like trying to go into top fuel, I like kind of made more of an effort to really get to know people. So like I was, out
Mhm.
there learning about, the track and doing track walks with our team, but it was also mostly just to meet, all the other crew chiefs out there of all the different teams and like just like get my face out there with them. And so I think like now like I kind of forget, like I'm like walking around and like I'm like, hi, I'm Jasmine. People are like, I know who you are. I'm like, okay, like I'm still, I still forget, like I still feel kind of, sometimes I forget that, but I definitely feel a lot more like I think I'm starting to create a space for myself there.